Alright, guys, what is going on? It is your boy Kuro, and today we are looking at the Update 31 combat preview that ZeniMax just posted a few hours ago today on the forums. This is, I'm sure you guys have seen these before, you know, they do it all the time. This is not for the upcoming patch, the upcoming dungeon patch, this is for the one after it. I don't remember what it's called, like Deadlands or something? I don't even know. But anyway, this is just going to be giving us a rough idea of what they're doing with PvP come 2 patches from now. And they've got some interesting stuff in here, and I want to go over it. I want to talk about it with you guys. I just want to share with you some thoughts and potentially share with anyone else that sees it some thoughts and just let them know how I think the PvPers are going to feel about these changes. They did also do ESO Live today, going over the upcoming patch. I'll be making a video on that soon. I'm going to go through and pick out a bunch of clips from that stream and talk about all the good stuff and not so good stuff that they brought up in there, including their no proc PvP 2.0, which that's going to be an experience, I think. But anyway, I hope you're having a good day. Let's go ahead and hop on into this, okay? So right here we got a typical introduction. Today, the combat team would like to share what we've been working on since update 30. While this update won't have too many large-scale changes, there are a number of little things, okay? Let's start with something we've seen a lot of discussion on. Time to kill. Now, as you guys know, time to kill in PvP is ridiculously high right now because there's a lot more damage. Damage higher. But simultaneously, defensive power is lower too. I'm glad they understand that. This is mainly caused by 2 things. The balance standards from the Champion Point 2.0 thing. Yes, absolutely. The Champion Points are kind of whack. As well as boosting up stats on fresh characters with the introduction of base weapon damage and spell damage, and base maximum resource adjustments from Update 30. Between these two, many builds are making more choices in improving their ability to deal or take damage while experiencing a sharper operational loss of the other. So they have, they know what they're talking about here just a little bit. They understand that we have to pick between damage and tankiness. Unfortunately, it's kind of useless to build into tankiness either way, because it doesn't really work. As many players' builds lean towards dealing damage in PvP environments, this creates a situation where time to kill lowers, so people die faster. While we've identified these specifics such as base stat adjustments, we wanted to stay focused on where the problem was felt, which was exclusively related to PvP. Our main adjustments in the update 31 will be to battle spirit, and focusing on the damage taken portion, increasing it to the base character takes 60% less damage, rather than 50%. I don't even think it's at 50% right now, guys, isn't it? I think it's at 44% currently, unless I'm losing my mind. Either way though, 60%, that's a lot. I think that's going to be a big, massive step in toward making us feel a little bit more like we used to, so that way the players that wanted to build a little bit of a tankier brawler kind of character don't just get 1-piece, 2-pieced by Nightblades and Sorks constantly still. It is a little bit annoying, and I'm glad they're taking a look at it, although I do think going all the way to 60% in Battle Spirit is gonna be a big change, and I do think we're gonna start seeing some really tanky boys out there, so prepare yourselves, because the tanks are coming, okay? Aside from this and a few more specific smaller adjustments, we're still monitoring many of the moving parts, such as proc set scaling and discussing measures we can take into future updates that won't adversely affect parts of the game where problems aren't as severe. So what they're trying to say is, we don't want the PvEers to get mad at us, so we're going to do this as slowly as humanly possible. Very ZeniMax of them, but as long as they're looking into it, it is what it is. In relation to time to kill in PvP in general, we're also doing a substantial pass on player abilities, item sets, and passives in Update 31 in regard to how they operate with both stealth and invisibility. This is where things get a little weird. This pass focuses on trying to improve the rules on what abilities should and should not hit or remove stealth or invisibility on targets, as well as fixing some issues where sneak attacks were stronger than intended in some areas. To clarify, sneak attacks or attacks made from the hidden state while crouching should only do the following: a guaranteed critical strike on 1 direct damage attack, bonus damage to monsters, whatever, who cares about that, and stun the target if it was a melee attack. So, we all know that, that's common knowledge. In hopes to improve both the ability to utilize or distinctly deny and remove stealth and invisibility, we are adjusting our rules to what player attacks should break these effects or even attempt to try and hit them. Previously, this was handled purely on the ability level of these effects, like Shadow Cloak, leaving them very susceptible to breaking in a multitude of ways when complex and dynamic abilities were used against them. Now, we're adjusting a significant amount of player-sourced attacks and effects to have rules applied to them in addition to the rules built into abilities like Shadow Cloak, reaching a much more streamlined experience. This doesn't make any fucking sense, okay? I don't know what the hell they're trying to say. Basically, they're saying, just Zos wording. Like, this is just a bunch of just verbal vomit. None of this makes any fucking sense. Basically, they're saying that they're changing the ways that some skills are going to work with stealth. That's it. That's all I needed to say. This is way too damn much. For player abilities, the only things that will break stealth or invisibility are direct damage, crowd control such as stuns or immobilizes, or revealing effects such as Expert Hunter and Revealing Flare. Player damage over time abilities of any type will no longer remove targets from stealth or invisibility, but may still damage them depending on their source of attack. Area of effect-based damage over time will damage the targets under these effects, but not remove the effects themselves. So here is the problem, okay? I don't like this, and I think a lot of other PvP players are not going to like this, because a lot of the abilities that people like me and people like other solo PvPers, people like small scalers use to deal with the insane onslaught of Nightblades is an AoE dot, okay? The amount of AoE dots that we use on a daily basis to pull Nightblades from stealth is substantial. Think about it. Hurricane, amazing skill, no longer going to pull Nightblades from stealth. Volatile Armor on the DKs, we like to pop that because the big AoE pulls Nightblades out of stealth, no more. Solar Barrage on Magplars, very nice, pulls Nightblades out of stealth, no more. And any other attack like that, same thing. Caltrops, not going to pull people out of stealth. However, the initial hit will because it has a direct damage AoE. But those other attacks, they do not. They are all dot all the way through. So they're not going to pull people from stealth, and it's going to be kind of whack. So now you're going to have to use the tech pots. You're going to have to slot Mage Light or Revealing Flare or Expert Hunter, any of those. And that's just kind of a pain in the ass because now we have to work in more bar space if we want to be effective against Nightblades. And honestly, so as a Magplar player, as a Magplar main, that's kind of the only reason I slot Solar Barrage at this point, because I love that AoE pressure and Nightblade stealth reveal thing that it does. It's very nice, very fun, very sweet and sexy, and now it's being taken away. Okay, it's like when you bring a sexy girl home from the bar, and then she wipes her makeup away, and then you were just mortified. You don't kick her out or anything, because you still, you know, you're not going to be an asshole, but you're just kind of forced to deal with it, and then you never talk to her again. And that's how it's going to be with me and Solar Barrage. We had a good relationship, but it's over now. There will also now be a short window when entering stealth or invisibility where player single target attacks made against you will no longer cancel the activation or strip the effect. So, you guys have seen it a million times before. You'll do a light attack, you'll do a surprise attack, or any other spammable that's instant, and a Nightblade will not get into stealth correctly. That's always been very helpful when you are chasing down a Nightblade. It won't happen anymore. Or at least that's what they're saying. So you're not going to be able to pull Nightblades out unless you have like a direct damage AoE or a revealing effect of some kind. Basically, it's going to be a lot harder to chase down all these Nightblades. You know, the 5 million Nightblades that are out there. Now, I'm not going to say this is a bad change overall. These changes are not horrible because stealth was broken. Stealth needed to be fixed. And if this fixes stealth and makes Nightblades feel better, then that's good, but also horrible because counterplay to Nightblades is going to be reduced dramatically, which really sucks. On the other hand, we've better accounted for reveals and detections in these rule sets of stealth and invisibility, so attacks won't miss as often as before when utilizing them. All in all, we hope this improves both using and fighting against stealth and invisibility in ESO by improving the consistency of the experiences so patterns and strategies may better evolve. I feel like this is honestly probably bullshit, you know, whatever this is. They're making it to where the reveal attacks are more effective, I guess. And you know, consolation prize, I guess, if you if you want to be forced to slot one on. Much of our focus outside of the pass mentioned above has been on the back-end scripting of abilities and cleaning up the amount of information they have, making sure they use relevant technological advancements we've made in the recent years, rather than using older and less efficient systems. For example, removing errant data or finding better ways for one-off checks and validations to be done was a large focus here, while cleaning up inconsistencies in behavior or power along the way. Expect many little changes and bug fixes as a result of this, such as improving Flame Skull's damage bonus calculation, woohoo baby, or minor tweaks to values like Essence Drain granting major mending for a full integer duration at all ranks. Neato. Thanks for that. If it fixes lag, sure. If it doesn't fix lag, who gives a shit, right? One of the larger changes you'll see from this pass are reworks for Skilled Hunter passive, Expert Hunter and its morphs visual displays on enemies, and Prismatic Weapon enchants. Previously, all three of these effects were constantly validating themselves against massive lists to determine if your target was an undead, werewolf, or vampire, with very little payoff with the amount of extra weight they had. So they're talking about how you can, if you have that one passive in the Fighters Guild, where if you have a Fighters Guild ability slotted, you'll see vampires and werewolves show up as glowing blue, or whatever that color is. I don't know, I don't really play with Expert Hunter too often. But yeah, I guess that was a big problem. So thank God they're fixing that. It's my favorite feature in the game. Very happy about that, but maybe it'll help bring the lag down a little bit. I don't know. We've decided to retain the Slayer of Evil theme of the Fighters Guild, but only have it active against players to improve performance while still getting the feel-good identity they have. So it'll only work against players. Prismatic Weapon enchants, however, have been completely changed to better fit their name of Tri-Resource, seen from the other prismatic enchantments. They now operate similarly to Drain Life or Magic Weapon enchants, but grant all three resources. So this is interesting. Prismatic enchantments for weapons right now are the ones that absolutely rip vampires' faces off of their skulls. And with the amount of vampires we see in PvP right now, they've been kind of a pain in the ass, I'll be honest with you. People will do, infused builds or Torag's Pact or Heartland or whatever, and I've been getting hit by like 7k prismatic damage enchants every 2 seconds, and that's been a real pain in the ass. And now it's just going to disappear. I feel like this is going to make some people a little unhappy, because, you know, Vampire Slayer roleplay is a big thing for some folks, I suppose. But, try resource sustain from an enchantment's kind of neat, I guess, but I bet you it's going to be very, very low value. Outside of behind-the-scenes work and minor adjustments, there's a handful of larger changes or new introductions coming as well. We're adding 3 new sub-constellations to the fitness tree, filled with all new slotted stars. Just what we need, more slottable stars. That's not what we need. We need a new slot for slottable stars and more passives, or buffing the shitty passives we have. We don't need more slots. We don't need more slottable stars. There's just more and more shit we can't use constantly. And the CP, they're doing all the wrong moves. Their names are Wind Chaser, Survivor's Spite, and Walking Fortress, with each focusing on unique aspects of core mechanics and actions. Now, I'm guessing this will have something to do with sprinting, this will have something to do with breaking free, and this will have something to do with blocking, because those are the core mechanics and actions. But they don't go into detail about it. Maybe Walking Fortress will give you some armor or something, depending on how many attacks you block. I really have no idea. We'll see how this works. I am interested to see what they do, because there are some interesting passives in the fitness tree now that I feel like if they had 1 or 2 more interesting counterparts, you could make some interesting builds and make them fit into some playstyles that aren't as prevalent right now. But we'll see. It's ZeniMax. I don't exactly trust them to make things useful, but here's hoping. Speaking of passives, we're also adjusting all player passives to grant hybrid versions of their stats. So things like Balanced Warrior, which is the Templar passive, which gives spell resistance and weapon damage, will give weapon and spell damage plus armor, rather than weapon damage and spell resistance. So this is a really cool passive. I think this is gonna be on all the other passives, you know, for every class, is what they're saying here. So maybe we'll see things like, what is it, Mountain's Blessing? That gives minor brutality when you use a Earth and Heart ability. Maybe that'll give minor sorcery now. That'd be cool. That'd be really awesome for mag DKs. But when it comes to straight up stats, if it gives weapon damage, it's going to give spell damage now as well. If it gives physical armor, it'll give magical as well, spell resistance. And that's a pretty cool passive. Not just for hybrids, but also just to help in the min-maxing of PvP builds. I definitely wouldn't mind throwing an extra 3k physical armor on my Stamina Templar. That's nice. It's a nice little bonus. I'll definitely take it. I like this change. It's very small, very simple. And yeah, it gets rid of some of the unique identity of the Stam versus Mag versions of each class, but that's not a big deal, I don't think, because you can still do it, you know, based on your skills and the passives and your weapons you choose, the armor you choose, all that good stuff. All in all, I like this change. I think it's a good one. In addition to this, we're reworking a few older item sets that had an incredibly low amount of player engagement. Sithis' touch will focus on zipping around from successful battles quickly one after the other. No one's going to use this still, I'm sure. Nicholas's heavy armor will improve its ability to shrug off incoming attacks. I actually don't even know what Nicholas does. Let's find out. Let's find out. Who? My brain doesn't work. Let's find out what this set does. When you block a spell projectile, you have a 25% chance of reflecting the spell back to the enemy. Amazing. If they change that for the better, that could be pretty cool. Maybe it'll just reflect all projectiles. That'd be pretty hot and sweet and sexy, honestly. And Crusader will receive a fitting shift to grant something more appropriate of an enabling bruiser. Let's see what this Crusader set does. Crusader ESO set, yes. Crusader. Increase the duration of the dodge chance bonus of, okay, yeah, useless, thank you. So that's cool. Likely the biggest adjustments to an existing set is to the Pelinal's Aptitude set. This is the hybrid set, the one that gives you equal spell and weapon damage, which will be changed to Pelinal's Wrath, which now focuses on the bloodlust of this hero of lore succumbed to in their legacy, left in Tamriel. What does that mean? Fuck if I know. But if it gives us damage, I'm in. Finally, there will be some targeted buffs to niche areas of the game we currently feel are lacking. Two-Handed's ability to stick in melee encounters and offer comparable sustained damage in PvE, as well as Froststaff's ability to give the touch of cold death. Keep an eye out in the patch notes for some juicy buffs to two specific abilities. I'm assuming that when it comes to the 2H, we're probably either going to see a buff to Carve/Cleave, or another buff to, what was it called? Stampede? Maybe not, but we'll see. And in Froststaff, I have no fucking clue what they're gonna do to Froststaff. Froststaff is a joke in my opinion, unless you're like an ice warden. But yeah, I'm interested to see what they do to the two-handed abilities. If they could do something like buff the dot on Carve and give two-handed like an actual nice meaty dot, I feel like that would be a fantastic change, and I would be able to use that on at least a couple builds for sure. I would like to see that. Hopefully that's what they do. Please buff Carve. That would be super sweet. I would appreciate the shit out of that. Ice Staves, I don't give a shit. If you guys know what they might be doing to Ice Staff, if you have any opinions on what they should do to Ice Staffs to make them better for dealing out that touch of cold death, drop your thoughts in the comments. You know, let me know what you think. And I believe that's it. The list of changes coming for Update 31 is quite long, but it's built up from many little changes rather than huge ones, so our hope is it will be less disruptive than some of our more recent updates. We still look forward to hearing your feedback and discussion that comes from the upcoming PTS cycle based on the changes. Thanks for reading, and see you in Tamriel. At least they understand that they absolutely decimate the game every time they do a major update. But yeah, that's it. That's it for the combat preview. There's a few cool things in there, a couple of interesting things. They're making us tankier, their battle spirit, They're absolutely making it impossible to pull Nightblades out of stealth. That's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be really fun. They're changing some sets. They're not telling us what the sets do, but I am interested to see what they do. And they are buffing some abilities, or changing some abilities in 2H and Frost Staff. So yeah, that's about it for this video, guys. If you have any thoughts, feedback, if you want to share what you think about, you know, these changes, if you agree with them, if you think they're good, if you think they're bad, doesn't even matter what it is, leave a comment down below in the comments, because that's where you leave comments. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, you know, drop the little sub button, ring the bell, ring a ding ding, that bell, baby, that's what I'm talking about. And follow me on Twitch if you want to see me play the game live. I play it pretty often. I also play other stuff on there. I've been playing through Final Fantasy VII Remake with my girlfriend. Just kind of spectating the last few days, and it's been good fun. So yeah, that's about it, guys. Thank you for stopping by. You have a fantastic day. I love you. Mwah. Kuro out.